It's time now for Real Estate Update. With Usha Chandra of GlobeNet Realty, real estate is our world.
Now we're standing here.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, once again, welcome to this very exciting segment of Weekly Real Estate Update with Usha Chandra. And we have got lots to talk about. And with that, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me on the show, Umesh, and Australian Indian Radio.
It's always a pleasure to have you on the show. And of course, as we know that the market throughout the nation still remains quite buoyant, and there's been so much that's been happening in the scene to talk about. So, of course, now that we are gone through January, coming on to February now, so what have been the auction results and clearance rates across the country in January?
Yes, extremely exciting results for auction. The sales under the hammer was very good. And let's have a quick look at the results. There were 1,160 homes taken to auction across the combined capital cities last week, up 166.1%. when compared to the previous week was only 436. So looking at the huge number of auctions, while the same week last year was 884 properties were taken to auction, and the result was 885 collected so far. So there was an increase of 74.1% have been successful, up from last week's preliminary clearance rate to 68.6%. which revised down to a final clearance rate of 66.1%. So extremely great results. 1,160 homes were taken to auction, and the results are amazing. 166.1%, looking at from the previous week's 436.
So if you look at those results, they are quite amazing result of 885 results collected so far. Well, amazing results out of those numbers that have been collected. So, if you look at all those figures and all the things that have been happening, so what have been the auction results so far?
Amazing results again. Let's have a quick look at the clearance rate for Sydney first. 70.5% compared to last week's result was only 50%. 326 properties were taken to auction in Sydney. 179 sold under the hammer. Melbourne was 68.4%. 393 properties were taken to auction, and 219 sold under the hammer. Brisbane, amazing result, 81.5%. 152 properties were taken to auction, 88 sold under the hammer. Adelaide, 83.6%, quite high there. 194 properties were taken to auction, 107 sold under the hammer. Perth was 58.3%. Perth has increased as well. It was 40% in the last record. 15 properties were taken to auction, 7 sold under the hammer. Looking at Tasmania, 1 property was taken to auction and that sold under the hammer. Canberra was 82.3%. 79 properties were taken to auction and 51 sold under the hammer. So looking at the average, 74.1% for the combined capital 652 sold under the hammer. So amazing results compared to the previous week's result. So a lot of homes are being taken to auction, as is that achieving the best price in the shortest period of time. So a lot of people prefer, and as you know, there's a lot of competition. People are coming out of everywhere and bidding, and the bidding goes beyond the owner's expectations. So amazing results there.
So that's quite indicative of what's happening out there in the market. And of course, the market currently is conducive to auctions, which is quite good to see. So looking at all of those, what have been the 12-month change in most of the capital cities?
Yes, again, very high results. Sydney was 25.6%. Melbourne was down a bit, 14.9%. Looking at Brisbane, wow, 29.2% was the change there. Monthly change, 12-month change. Adelaide was 24.8%. Perth was 11.3%, and the combined capital cities, the 5 combined capital cities, was 21.2%. So amazing results for Brisbane and Adelaide and Sydney as well. So 25, 24 and 29.2%.
Well, again, looking at all those figures are quite good. So, looking at 29%, Brisbane being the highest. Wow, that is amazing. And Perth at 11.3. So if you look at across the board, it's average at about 20%, which is amazing results as well. So looking at all of those, let's see what's on the marketplace. So looking at the marketplaces overall, I'm talking about listings. So what's been happening in that scene nationally?
From start of January. So looking at the new listings, let's have a quick look at Brisbane market first. 3,664 new listings came last week, and the combined year to date is 11,196. Sydney has got 5,305 new listings, 16,534 year to date. Canberra has got 542 new listings. Year to date, 1,293. Melbourne is, wow, looking at Melbourne market, 6,176 new listings have come, properties have come on the market, and their combined is 22,621 year to date. Let's have a quick look at Darwin. 186 new homes were listed, 875 year to date. Perth has got 3,688. Year to date is 13,909. Hobart is 268 new listings, and 680 is their total listings there. And Adelaide, looking at Adelaide, quite a large number of listings there. 1,564 new homes were listed. Year to date is 3,929 properties. So looking at the combined capital cities, 21,393 properties were listed, and year to date is 71,037. So large number of listings. That's why the results are really high in auctions as well, because the listings were quite large in number.
And the listings are quite large in number. And as we will see from this next report, which we're going to look at, let's take a look at, before we go into the next segment of today's show, let's just take a look at the Sydney market and a report that was done there by ABC, and where they talk about what you have just mentioned, that the number of listings coming on the market are more, but even then prices are still going up. So let's take a look at this report.
In Sydney, it feels like the market only ever moves in one direction, and the December quarter was no exception. Just over a year ago, the median house price in Sydney was around $1.2 million. In the 12 months since, it's risen to roughly $1.6 million. That's an increase of 33% for the year, well above the national average of 25%. It's the steepest annual growth on record, an average of $1,100 a day.
We've seen record low interest rates really support buyer activity, and we've also seen a high level of household savings. But I think more importantly, we're spending more time in our homes and we're using them very differently. And what that's done is really driven homeowners to upgrade.
Experts say the market does appear to be slowing down. Housing stock is rising and an interest rate hike could be on the horizon. But even with a substantial downturn, the Sydney market is likely to remain stubbornly inaccessible to most aspiring first home buyers.
Affordability is certainly an issue when we've got such an increase in price, particularly in the backdrop of low wages growth.
Moving out of the big smoke might be a tempting option, but the Aussie postcodes that gained the most value in 2021 weren't actually in the major cities. They were up in the sunny, subtropical north of the state. Top of the list is the coastal getaway Byron Bay, where the median house price is higher than even Sydney, $1.7 million, and the average unit there will set you back almost as much. A tidy sum for a slice of paradise. Ruby Cornish, ABC News, Sydney.
And as you can see from that report, Byron Bay, that's amazing. So, if people could only predict, right now everyone's saying that, let's find out where the next Byron Bay would be. Well, right now, towards the end of today's presentation, let's take a look at what's been happening in the rental scene, Usha.
Yes, looking at rental scene, nationally Australian dwelling rent rose 0.6% in December and 1.9% over the December quarter, in line with 1.9% growth recorded in September quarter. Regional rents have increased by 2.5% over the December quarter, while capital city rents increased 1.6% in the same period. So wow, looking at the regional rents increase, basically it's doubled in the regional areas, 2.5% compared to 1.6% in the capital cities. All 8 capital cities saw increase in rental values over both the latest quarter and year to date, as it did individual house and unit markets. Canberra was the most expensive capital city rental market, with a typical house costing $714 per week and a typical rental costing $541 per week. Brisbane saw the strong growth in house rents over the December quarter, up to 2.7%, while Melbourne recorded the strongest growth in unit rents over the same period of 1.6%. Darwin recorded weakest quarterly growth in house rents, while Hobart recorded weakest growth in unit rents, up to 4.4% and 0.5% respectively. With the exception of Perth, up 4 basis point, 4.37%. Growth rental yields were lower across all capital cities over the quarter. So looking at the national rental overview, we have seen amazing results in increase of rent increases, like in regional areas. I can't believe regional areas is gone by 2.5%, whereas capital cities are only 1.6%. So in Brisbane market has done very well. Canberra has been the most dearest housing per week is $714 per week, whereas rental for apartment is $541 per week. So that shows the people know where to invest and where their capital growth will be more higher than the yields actually.
And that is pretty good results there, especially very pleasing to see Brisbane with the strongest growth in house rents over the December quarter, up by 2.7%. So that is quite good to see that the confidence level in the market here is great. And of course, the rental demand and yield is quite great as well. So in terms of medium rent and in the quarter, what have been the changes and what have been the gross yields across all the combined capitals?
Yes, let's have a quick look at Sydney first. $605 is the medium rent, and the quarterly change was 1.8%. 12-month change was 9.2%, and the current yield is 2.89%. The current yield is 2.4%, and the 12 months ago was 2.89%. Melbourne, 456 is the medium rent, 0.4% is the monthly growth, and 12-month growth is 4.1%, and the current yield is 2.7%, and the year 12 months ago was 3.12%. Brisbane, 507 is the medium rent, and 0.8% is the monthly growth there. And looking at 12 months was 10.6%, and the yield is 3.69%. Looking at Adelaide, $447 is their medium rent, 0.5% is the monthly change, and then the yield 12 month is 8.5%, and the current yield, gross yield is 3.86%. Perth is $485 per week. 0.4% is the monthly change, and then 10.3% is the 12-month dwelling rent change, and the yield was 4.37%. Hobart is $521 per week in current medium rental price. 12 monthly change is 0.8%, and 12-month change is 12.7%, quite high there, and the yield is 3.72%. Sorry. Darwin $561 per medium rent per week, and 0.3% is the monthly change, and 15.2% is the 12-month change. Canberra is $651 per week, and 0.8% is the monthly change, and 8% is the 12-month change, and the yield is 3.76%. So looking at the combined capital cities, let's have a quick look at the housing rent in the combined capital cities. $508 is the median price, 0.5% is the monthly change, and 8.4% is the 12-month change, and the gross yield is 2.96%. Combined regional, looking at regional, $465 per week is the medium rent, 0.8% is the monthly change, and 12.1% is the 12-month change, and yield is 4.15. So looking at comparing, the yield is quite high in the regional areas as well, 4.15%. National is $495 per week, and 0.6% is the national change, and 9.4% is the 12-month, and yield nationally is 3.22. So quite good large number, and the yield is quite good as well.
And the yield is quite good, as you have mentioned. Looking at the combined regionals, as you mentioned, 12-month change is 12.1%. That is huge. And the yield, which is 4.3, the yield is worked out at the cost of the house plus what the retains you are getting. So obviously in regional areas, the cost of the houses have been a little bit less than what the major capitals have been. But because people are moving to the regional areas, so they're renting more, and that's pushed the rental prices up, which in return gives a higher yield. Well done. Well, right now, before we finish off for today, in conclusion, what's happening in your area? So what's being, the report of your area sales, listings and rental wise?
Yes, on the north side of Brisbane, Boondall area is our trade area. Boondall, Tygum, Zilmere, all those surrounding suburbs. Listings, as we were discussing, there's more listings coming on the market. We have got about 3-4 new listings last week. So they will be coming for open houses this Saturday. So we have listed one property at 305 Church Road, offers over $950. Another one we have listed at Sengate Road, 2288 Sengate Road. This property I have sold this is the 6th time I'm selling this property, and it's going to being taken to auction. Hopefully early March the auction will be, it's just listed on Friday, so early March will be the auction date. And we have listed another one at Fort Hill Place. That one is already gone under contract. Fairbank Place, which we did open house, that one is already gone negotiated. And then we have listed 2 blocks of land in Deegan, and one already have got an offer today. So very, very good listing wise and the sales wise as well. Couple of them have already got under offer from Saturday's open house. Rentals, we have, as I was discussing, rental market is very busy at the moment. A lot of tenants are either breaking lease or their end of lease, and they are buying their own properties and moving out. So we have Vicky and Diane are fairly busy in the rental section. We have listed one new rentals at Tuong as well. So that's an apartment which is rented for $750 per week. We have got another apartment, a 2-bedroom apartment, fully furnished. That one is on the market for $500 per week. So, and looking at Couple of new apartment come on the in the Boondall area in Stenworth Road. That one is $500 a week as well. So very busy. Auction, as I talked about, we have got 2288 Sandgate Road coming for auction. That's a forthcoming auction. So the local area report is quite busy. A lot of agents are working in that area, and they're all extremely busy as well.
So well done, and very good to see that your market is still quite buoyant there, and you're doing quite well with the new listings coming on as well. So once again, Usha, thank you so much for being on the show and providing us that great insight into the property market, which you do every week. So once again, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you so much for having me on the show.